I've got a small cattle ranch just outside of town, passed down from my granddad. It's not fancy, an old barn, a few fenced pastures, and a creek winding through the back. Mostly I keep a herd of Angus cattle, a couple of stubborn horses, and a dozen hens for fresh eggs. Last year, a brand new subdivision sprang up along the county road, complete with its own HOA full of people who think living near a ranch means they own the view, the breeze, and the land under my boots. Karen, the HOA president, because of course her name was Karen, decided my barn was unsightly for her neighborhood. She'd file noise complaints about my tractor at dawn. She'd call the county whenever the cows mooed too loud. She even accused my rooster of crowing aggressively. Then she hatched her big plan. One Friday night, I came home from a supply run and saw a row of fancy camping tents pitched right along my barn fence. The HOA had decided to host a family wilderness night. Without asking me a single word, they'd set up a bonfire, kids running around with glow sticks, and lawn chairs practically leaning on my fence line. Karen saw me pull up in my old Ford and strutted over, arms crossed. "We're enjoying nature," she said, "and your old barn makes the perfect rustic backdrop. I trust you won't be running any noisy farm equipment tonight." I bit my tongue and nodded. "Enjoy your night, Karen." She grinned like she'd won. She had no idea. What she didn't know was that Saturday morning was turnout day for my cows and horses. Every Saturday at sunrise, I open the barn gates and let the herd roam the east pasture for grazing. They know the routine, they bolt out like kids at recess. At dawn, I poured myself a mug of black coffee and stepped out to the barn. The campers were all still snoozing, their fancy lanterns flickering out, ashes cold in their unauthorized fire pit. I opened the barn doors. 50 head of cattle shuffled to the gate, tails swishing, eager to stretch their legs. My 2 horses, Rebel and Daisy, stomped and tossed their heads, ready to run. I swung the gate wide. The herd thundered out like a living tide. Hoofs pounded dirt. A chorus of surprised shrieks shot up from the tents as the cattle poured through the pasture. Right alongside the fence line where the HOA campers sat up in panic, unzipping tents as Daisy pranced past like she owned the place. Kids screamed. A dad leapt onto a lawn chair that snapped under his weight. Karen shrieked at me to call them back, but I just sipped my coffee and tipped my hat. "Ma'am," I said, "it's pasture day. They've got the run of it till sunset." My cows didn't hurt a soul, but they did trample through the makeshift campfire, knock over a few cooler bags, and send a dozen folding chairs tumbling. The horses, thrilled to have new scenery, trotted up to sniff the tents, flicking tails at whoever dared stand still. By noon, the HOA's Family Wilderness Night had become Family Emergency Evacuation. They packed up their SUVs, trash bags trailing behind them. Karen stomped up one last time, wagging her finger. "You'll hear from our lawyers," she shrieked. I pointed to my private property sign on the fence, the one they ignored when they trespassed. "Can't wait," I said. No lawsuit ever came. A county officer did, though. When he heard the story, he laughed so hard he nearly choked on his coffee. He promised me next time the HOA borrows my pasture for a party, they'll be the ones getting fined, not my cows for grazing on their own land. Now every Saturday morning, Karen keeps her distance. And my cows? They get a good chuckle out of it, too. At least I like to think so when they stand by the fence watching her minivan roll by, tails flicking in the breeze.